Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, welcome back to the News and Views program, and you are listening to us on the broadcast waves of Salam Media, the satellite and our online radio broadcast, as well as on the waves of Al Ansar in Durban and Pietermaritzburg. And now, for this particular segment, we go live to our Facebook page, facebook.com, and our YouTube channel as well. I'm joined by Sheikh Yusuf Hassan Pandey of the Al Jeem Foundation. And this slot is dedicated to the upcoming Hajj this year. Despite the coronavirus pandemic and the limited numbers of people that will only be allowed to participate from within the kingdom, we still hope, inshallah, to make it a most enlightened and spiritually developmental program during these 10 days, as well as the days of the actual Hajj. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Hassan Yusuf.
أهلا وسهلا عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله، كل عام وأنتم بخير. كيف الحال؟ How are you?
Alhamdulillah, we all keeping well on the side. Now, I suppose that this is a very difficult time for yourself and the extended team at the Al Jeem Foundation because of this year's reality that we are facing right now.
نعم صحيح. يعني it is a moment in civilization and in history that we see the giants of the world have become compromised. A matter that has started off with China and Europe and America, and it had shown the entire world the actual the how conflicted we are at the end of the day. However, I think it's all about transformation. It's necessary for one to step back at times, and this is a matter which is entirely in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala's hands. So we have accepted the challenge. We have accepted the actual status quo as it is, and Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have actually just try to keep in contact with the relevant people in this whole situation. Alhamdulillah.
Now, let's look at traditionally the role of the Al Jeem Foundation. How long have you been in the industry of Hajj? How has it changed and transformed over the years of your experience?
Subhanallah. The Al Jeem Foundation is in actual fact a academic institution. It is a research academy based on preparing people who wants to go through transformations in life. That we have found that Islam had been offering the most effective means of transformation that is sustainable to the current status quo and to civilization in the 21st century. So we've been using and we've been employing new strategies where we bring science, religious science, and the natural sciences together in order to prove the effectiveness. And hence, this year we have actually come up with one of the first products in the world by which we have been undertaking a virtual Hajj, the first virtual Hajj in the 21st century in South Africa. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we have people from America, from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, China, that has been supporting and understanding the way of how we are preparing for the new digital age for Muslims, where we are understanding to become part of the mainstream. Faddal ya akhi. Azhar. No.
And talking around this issue of the virtual Hajj, what does it encompass, and how does it actually become, an experience for people to participate in?
Well, for first, mashallah, tabarakallah, we are actually one of the first companies in the world that has recorded the transformation of a Hajji from Alif to Ya, from A to Z. So from the time that the person undertakes this journey, not undertakes this journey in itself physically, but educationally having to make the intention, understanding his kind of vision and insight, what he wants to do. It's not just a ritual in terms of the Islamic paradigms. So we have documented and recorded and interacted and interviewed with certain particularly Hujjaj, yani human beings, qualified, matured people, knowing what they want and what they need to ascertain through this process of transformation. And we have recorded it, we have undergone, and we have done interviews with them throughout the journey, be it in the Haram of Makkah, Medina, be it on Arafah, be it in Muzdalifah and these places. And then we've brought them back, bi'idhnillah, and now we are actually now side by side with this content, we're actually interviewing them. Because of the coverage and the content we have, we are now unpacking what exactly has transpired in this person's lives, because it is a pillar in society. It's a fifth pillar of a society, as God had mentioned. So if a society cannot manifest anybody coming back from this international Olympics that has not transformed, then we are sitting with a problem. And that is the actual situation that we are actually unpacking now to society in large, and a resource that we have compromised, like the salah, doing salah, not understanding what we're doing the same thing you do before you go into the salah, you do the same thing when you come out. Things that we have denounced in this pillar that God has called the fifth pillar seems not to have been effective because of the way that we have been adhering to it. So we have a chance in history and civilization to see where we are going wrong and where we are conflicted and where we are subjected, and then take it from there. So we are running the process from day one, already from the first of the Qa'dah until today, which is the second of the Hijjah in South Africa and the third of the Hijjah in Saudi Arabia. So it's something we are unpacking both on a social, political, economic level, and we hope Allah Subhanahu wa Taala gives us insight to understanding His paradigms and His ways of how to sustain transformation in this current situation that we are. تفضل يا
Mhm.
أخي.
Sheikh Hassan, as we now near these last few days, normally there would have been so much of excitement. There would have been a buzz around the world as families are watching their near and dear ones get into the Hajj and arrive, and then they're moving from one place to the other, and they're going from Makkah and they're taking up their residence out, in the outlying areas, and whatever happens during the normal Hajj, it's not there. That sense of spirituality, as you said, a fifth pillar of the society of Islam, has almost been removed from everybody. What advice would you give to the Ummah right now to perhaps rekindle some of that, or to at least keep us steadfast on the little that we have?
Habibi, Azhar, is important for us to realize is that if we technically and scientifically understand Hajj, we know there's Haram and there's Hill. You find two demographics locations in the world. One is the Haram and one is the Hill. If we understand where Arafah is located, it is in the Hill, it is not in the Haram. You have to leave Haram in order to get to Arafah, which is outside the boundaries of the Haram. What is important is that the rest of humanity celebrates the great achievement of these individuals, be it one person or be it 1,000 people, because Allah has allowed you to be forgiven and to be renewed and to be rejuvenated and all these kind of things. Muslims in the world are subjected to actually being in the same state as being in the outside of the haram, and then being in the state of fasting, which is an ibadah, whilst the haji is not in the state of in the state of fasting, but is in the state of ihram. For the parallels are very scientifically close. We are busy with these kind of things online. It's the first in the world of a South African, because we've been always considered as inferior because of our backgrounds in this country and from where we hail. So we are actually unpacking this thing day on and day on, and then I think it's necessary for us actually, as we've lost our focus of why there is a masjid in the community and now it's been closed, I think it's important for us to revisit the purposes that we are doing these things and not the commercialization of it, and how we have been conflicted in general and compromised in these things, subhanallah.
Sheikh Hassan Yusuf Pandey of the Al Jeem Foundation, Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and for
جزاكم الله
sharing those
خير.
words of inspiration during these challenging times.
أهلا وسهلا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
حياك الله. حياك الله. حياك الله. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.